so just in that consultation, we probably wiped out, I bet you close to $50,000 a year in expenses that he didn't need. And so that's another area we want to get into. We're already in that space. And then also help people realize that there are so many people that want to get out of business that have been doing it for 25 or 30 years. There are just thousands and thousands of businesses out there that the owners will probably shut them down.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm here today with Peter Ellefson, owner of EPL Financial Group. How you doing today, Peter?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Appreciate you spending some time with us today. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and about EPL Financial Group.
Well, I've been in the financial services industry about 3.5 decades. I'm in Arizona. Moved here in '84 from North Dakota. And, we've built an integrated financial services firm. We have a large tax practice, fiduciary fee-only investment firm, real estate company, insurance company, and consulting firm. And really the basis was behind it is over the years, I just realized that people would have to get 4 and 5, quote advisors involved. And it was a lot of times difficult because everybody was trying to protect their own territory. And rightfully so. I'm not condemning them, but it was rather difficult. Or they would have, multiple teams, but you didn't know who was on whose team. So that's where we designed it. And so we acquire a lot of tax firms, and then we integrate all the financial services that we do. I like to say that, I have over 3.5 decades of experience, but we try to prevent the mistakes that we've made over the years for clients. And, we're unique. There's a lot of firms that have tax and investment or tax and insurance, but I'm not, there might be 1 or 2 firms out there in the United States that integrates all of the services that we do.
A one-stop shop for all things financial. It makes a lot of sense. One would think that each of those advisors people have to amass would have to have insights into what all of the other advisors are doing. And I'm sure people are fairly close to the vest with what they're doing. So coming to one company to cover all those things can be incredibly invaluable. What verticals do you service?
What do you mean verticals?
Well, is this purely consumer clients? Is there any corporate clients for you?
No, we try to deal with people, mainly business owners, but because they have so many different things going on. It's interesting. So many business owners will work with someone and we'll take their account over. I'm like, who's been doing your tax planning? Why don't you have a defined benefit plan opened up? We just talked with a gentleman that came over and he had none of these things. Why don't you have a 401k involved? We dealt with a large client last year that was going to have $1 million tax implication, and we got him over, and we at least outlined where we could save almost all of those taxes. And so, so as far as that, we don't do any corporate clients because most of them will have it internally. We like to work with clients that we can handle multiple phases of business for them. Not only do we think we do it incredibly well, but if you call me after the fact, I can't do a lot of good for you. Another example we had is one of the best ones. The guy had another tax advisor and an investment advisor and a real estate advisor, and he had a big tax gain and decided to sell real estate without looking into it, and he gave himself a bigger gain. When if he would have had somebody review the process with him, we could have found some of the real estate that were losses and offset those losses. And so that's what we really want to work with is business owners. Or we did a merger the other day, and we just talked to a tax client today, and they have a substantial amount of assets, a small business, 4 trusts, 20 homes. And so that's something that we do very well, and very few firms out there can do that. Otherwise, they'd have to work with 4 or 5 different people. And I've really found, in all the years I've been doing this, I started in the late 80s in this business. And I try to keep that quiet, and then also try to amplify it. But so those are the types of clients we want to work with. Like I said, the corporate are going to have it internally. And so that's what our clientele niche is, that I'm not sure anybody else can touch.
No, it's very important for one hand to know what the other hand is doing as far as real estate, insurance, and tax at the same time. And the idea that people have independent advice going on in those 3 arenas can be very expensive, I imagine. What's the origin story of EPL? When did you open shop?
I started with one of the largest investment firms out there. I won't mention their name, but they're one of the ones that survived the 2008 debacle. But and I just didn't like how things were done. And then I went to work for one of the largest banks that's still around, amazingly so. And I wanted to be an advisor, not a salesperson. And so we started the firm in 1996, and we designed everything around being an advisor. And so that's what I wanted. I got tired of people coming into the office with their fists up, trying to figure out what the hell are you going to try to do to me? And so everything, we're a fiduciary on the investment advisory side, and we carry that through. There's very few people that are fiduciaries. How they get around it is the firm is a fiduciary, and then the individual advisor is not. And I think that's semantics, but hey, what am I going to do about it? So, so we are a fee-only fiduciary advisor on the investment side, and that was really the genesis. And then I realized that tax practices aren't, they're a relationship. They're not really a business. I'm not talking about the big 4, big 5, or whatever the heck is left, but tax practices are just a relationship. So there's no value there to really sell them effectively. And so we started merging tax practices about 8 or 9 years ago to integrate everything into that. And it's been mind-bogglingly successful. And so we consult on that. And so that was really the genesis. I just wanted to be an advisor. I didn't want to be a salesman. And if most people really you almost need to be an actuary to look through your investment statement and figure out what you're being charged. And because they only have to disclose it one time when you open the account, and they give you a packet about this thick. And so that was really the genesis. And then I kept running into issues where we would do planning, and then either we couldn't get the attorney to cooperate, or we couldn't get the other investment guy or the real estate guy, their insurance guy to cooperate. And then I always use 2008 as an example. Was your investment guy telling you to buy real estate? No, he's probably telling you to buy stocks, but real estate was where you should have been. And so that was really the genesis is those factors. And we've done a brilliant job. I've got an incredible staff, and as I like to tell them, they make me look good, but I'm not going to tell anybody that they're that good. So
you got to keep the carrot a little further away on this.
We take real good care of people. That's the other aspect of it. Give them a lot of freedom, and that's, I think, what most people want.
Excellent. And what are the most common problems you're solving for your clients?
I would say, fear of investing. Most of them are fearful. A lot of the clients we deal with have, tax issues. And I would probably say the biggest thing is organizational. It's kind of leaning back to the tax end of it. If the vast majority of tax businesses we either do agreements with or anything are so antiquated. I think if anybody knew, they would probably not go back there. Doesn't mean they're not smart, not good people, but I just find most people are frozen and just want some direction. And that's also the nice thing of what we do is as a fiduciary, we can do it on a fee, we can do it on a management fee, we can do it on a consulting basis. And there's very few firms out there that can do that. Because again, it just goes back to the same thing. I want to advise, I don't want to sell.
You refer to people as frozen. The analogy for me, you talked about, when a person makes an investment, they give you a stack of paper this deep and no one reads all the details. It's like when you get an updated terms of service for someone you do business with, no one reads. So the reality is you can be given and you could be signing off on just about anything. And no one reads tax code. No one knows what they're doing. So there's a huge fear factor. And it's all about trust and authority in your space. And obviously, there's plenty of people who have trusted you for a lengthy period of time with their finances. And I can't think of a more tenuous time than today with 7% interest and a volatile stock market and crypto in the news every day. So I applaud the way you're treating people in such of a holistic approach to finances. It's important. Tell me about, it's 2023. It's, people meet remotely. They're not across the desk from you, getting a sense of why they should do business with you. How do you get the story out? What role has content played in the growth of EPL?
Most of our growth has been through, I want to use this term loosely, with mergers. And so we have not approached it yet. And that's part of the reason that we're talking today. But we've just done incredibly well with these mergers because everything integrates. So we may take over a tax practice and, we may fill the slots, so to speak, for our real estate or investment advisory and such. And so we want to move more into the business consulting. I think that that's probably the least. When I talk to most business owners or when I see what they're doing, they need a lot. And I think that's one of the biggest opportunities out there is acquiring businesses. Now we do it in a vertical space in the investment field. But what I find is that most business owners are antiquated. We did a consulting with a gentleman the other day, and this is just incredible. But he had over $1,500 in different software that he hadn't used in years. He was still on, I won't mention the name, but he still had his phone system. He had 6 phone lines. He was spending upwards of $1,100 a month and didn't need any of the phone lines. He'd never really heard of voice over IP because when he heard about it 20 years ago, it was horrible, which it was. We dealt with another gentleman that had heard about DocuSign but didn't really want to do it. So just in that consultation, we probably wiped out, I bet you close to $50,000 a year in expenses that he didn't need. And so that's another area we want to get into, or we're already in that space. And then also help people realize that there are so many people that want to get out of business that have been doing it for 25 or 30 years. There are just thousands and thousands of businesses out there that the owners will probably shut them down. I was just on a call right now where a guy is saying, I want to shut this tax practice down. I don't know where to go with it. And, we'll come up with an agreement and so they're just out there all over the place. And we want to get people into this space because of the fact is that everybody is so antiquated. It's just mind-boggling out there. I mean, we did again, I use this term loosely, but we did a merger last year where we walked into the business and I went, oh my gosh, thank God you have a scanner. And one of the staff said, well, we've had it for 2 years, but it's never been hooked up. Another example, we walked into it, we did another one where, they were using, everybody was using one screen, and you don't think about it, but, just integrating 3 screens for a tax preparer could probably double, if not triple, their productivity. And it's just amazing to me. So.
Well, hey, perspective is everything. Not everybody can take that little sidestep to see that they're stuck in their old patterns and ways. So I applaud you for that. What makes EPL Financial Group stand out from its competition so much?
I think that because we are advisors, I think because we are integrated in so many and specialists and have the expertise and the years of experience in so many areas. I'll take real estate. The turnover in real estate is 85-90% in a 3-year period. Most realtors might sell a home, have no idea how to buy a commercial building or how to sell a commercial building. Most of them have no idea what a cost segregation is, which is a staggering tax advantage. They have no idea how to structure an LLC or whether, we had one where 2 people bought a bunch of real estate. They bought it together and they came in and I'm like, you're a partnership. Oh no, we don't want to be a partnership. No, you are. So that's the step above that we have, because most will say, oh, well, you got to go somewhere else to do this. And this isn't, you brought up something that was interesting. When I started with, starts with an M, back in the day, there was no internet. There was no internet terminals. You had to buy Bloomberg at $1,500, $1,500 a month.
Yep.
That is all free today.
Of course.
So there's so much, with assistance and AI and all of these different things that really takes away all of the arduous BS that you had to do in the past, where it does enable you to be up to date and understand all the different facets of financial services. And I still remember back in the day, they were, one day you can have a terminal, and I'm like, $1,500 a month. I think I'll go read the newspaper. So you can understand all, and so much of it ties together. Like I said, with buying commercial real estate and the cost segregation and setting up the proper thing and understanding the different tax write-offs, that's advisory. And then, you have a stock portfolio and you go, hey, we got some losses here. We got some huge gains in real estate. Why don't we offset them and take a look at that? So, I've only found one other firm out there that does everything that we do. And I'll say that I doubt they do it anywhere near as effectively as we do.
Excellent. All right. Fast forward 1 year from today, what would you like to be celebrating personally and professionally?
Oh gosh, I hope I celebrate just being around one more year. I love what I'm doing. I've got an amazing family. I've been with my wife, 38 years. I got 2 kids who work with me in the firm, which is, I remember when they got out of college, they're like, nah, man, come on. And then all of a sudden, a couple of years like, that idea you had, Dad. And so I'm so blessed. And like I said, I just hope that I'm here to celebrate, here that we're continuing to grow. That's the beauty, when you ask me about the, social media, that we can take the next steps to grow, to tell more about us, and then to help others. There's so much out there. There's so much out there. It's mind-boggling with these, whether it's 25 or 30 or 60 or 70, there's so much opportunity out there, and there's so much to do, and it's so much to teach that I hope that we are around to do that. So, yeah.
Excellent. Peter Ellefson of EPL Financial Group, thank you for spending some time with us today on Business Ninjas. I wish you and yours and EPL all the best in the future.
We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.